Hello and welcome. This is DrShiny Tarot. I have a monthly reading here for you for the month of November, and this is for Virgo. So, full disclosure, I am also a Virgo, so this reading will partially, at least, be for me as well. So, I used to do these readings a lot a few years ago, and kind of, fell out of having... got very busy and stuff like that, but we're going to get back to it. We're going to do these monthly readings again, and if you haven't already done so, please check out my introductory videos on how I read the tarot and what you can expect from it, and just a little bit more general information about the tarot, just all together. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started with our Virgo reading, and typically you would put, your 4 cards out here in the Celtic Cross, but I don't really have enough room on the table here, so what we're going to do is put our last card to the side. And let me move these over so you can kind of see what's on the table a little bit more. So, current situation, you have the 7 of coins. And the 7 of coins is this is a farmer or, a laborer who has put in a lot of work and is, looking at the harvest. It's not quite harvest time yet, so there's like a little bit of a dreaminess about like, this is nice. Look what I've done here. And a little waiting for it to pay off, and so something is in the process of maturing, some investment that you've made. It's in the material realm, so this is you've put some work into a project, or maybe you have a garden or something like that you're waiting for the payoff, and you're at the point now where it's right before it's time to harvest, so it's like these nice dopamine feelings of accomplishment and whatnot. And that's the current situation. What's crossing you, or that's how you should be, right? And what's crossing you is this 4 of Cups in the reverse. And 4 of Cups, this is kind of a down attitude, maybe like even a depression or intense sadness. And the fella here is, he has the 3 cups that are full right in front of him, and he also has, another one that's coming out of almost nowhere, but he's just not having it. He's kind of just, in a bad mood, and he doesn't feel that emotional connection available to him. He feels a little bit tired as well, so there's this, I just need to withdraw, I don't want to play, that kind of thing. And in the reverse, this is, you're being negatively affected by this state. There are opportunities around you that you are missing because you're feeling loss a little bit too hard. You're not letting yourself move on from whatever has affected you in this to bring about this circumstance. It could be kind of like almost a cynical attitude, right? Where when you've been burned so many times about things, eventually you just try to, almost as a defense mechanism, you try to say, well, this is, destined to turn out bad or badly anyway, because you want to prepare yourself for the disappointment, right? You don't want to be shocked by disappointment anymore. You're kind of just trying to, fall into this attitude of that's just how things are. And it's not always how things are. So this type of energy can block you off from opportunities that would propel you out of the situation, that would bring your life to a new level of abundance or that kind of thing. So the past, what you have in the what's moving away from you position, is the Knight of Coins in the reverse. And so this is kind of a rash spender. So the Knight is more matured than the Page, and this is to deal with coins, so there's a financial or an attitude of the material. But the Knight of Coins is a little bit further along, but he doesn't have a perfect knowledge. He's not the queen or the king, certainly. So he has a tendency to make some mistakes. He can charge in thinking that he knows how things are and be a little bit rash with his investments or with finances or whatever. So you're moving away from this energy. So there is a sense that you're sort of learning from past mistakes, and you have a healthy mentality when it comes to that. But this may have kind of worked out in the negative for you in the past in quite a substantial way. And what you're moving toward is the Nine of Coins in the reverse. So Nine of Coins, this is a person who has financial success, but she kind of she's not doing much. She's a little daydreamy. She's kind of looking at how everything she's accomplished everything. She has everything she needs. She has a little bit of this stagnant energy that is leading her to just be a little daydreamy, or not actively moving forward. So this comes right before the Ten of Coins, which is this like tremendous overflowing of abundance. So this is what you need to get over in order to move along that sort of path. In the reverse, it's kind of maybe you're almost resistant to enter that phase, right? So there can be this restlessness, or a little bit of I want to move on to the next project. I want to move on to the next thing. And it's kind of a challenge for you, because what's happening is there's this things need time to develop a lot of times, and you have to kind of give things their due diligence. And if you don't take a time to, there's a reason that the card is in the deck, and not every card here is going to be a solid good thing or a bad thing. They're all a necessary part of life, right? So in resisting this kind of idea, it's not giving you time to appreciate the accomplishments that you make, right? So if you stand back and you take a look at what all you've done, your brain gives you this dopamine. It gives you this these feelings of I've done good, I've done right, and it really kind of trains your subconscious on how to act a particular way to live the life that you want to live, right? So you can feel as though things are not really working in your benefit if you kind of skip that step. But it also is a challenge of life to go beyond that step and to move to the next phase. So, I think there's a value in slowing down a little bit. Things don't have to move at warp speed, right? And that's the idea I'm getting here. You have 2 knights in your reading, and only 1 major arcana. There's a lot of quick... I'm seeing a balance between fast motion cards and cards that have a kind of stagnant or calm energy. So there's this little tug of war going a little tug of war going on, considering whether to speed up or slow down. So there's a little bit of a confusion there, right? And just like just now, my voice was trying to figure out whether to speed up or slow down, and I stumbled on my own words. So we're not going to cut that out. I think it's very meaningful. So the foundation of the situation, what's going on in the subconscious, is the 6 of Coins in the reverse. And the 6 of Coins typically involves charity, or specifically abundance, about having enough to give to other people, right? And this also means that there's a fulfilling aspect of having a lot, where it's almost like with great power comes great responsibility. So you have to be able to allow material success to flow out to others, right? In the reverse, there is one of 2 ways. There's either a lack of willingness to be more open and giving with your financial success, or there is a lack of ability to do this. So there's like what you would want to do for others, you're not feeling able to do for others, right? So in one way or another, this is sort of driving the situation. And it's... So, well, let's take a look at your crowning thoughts. Your crowning thoughts, or your intentional mind, you have the Knight of Swords in the reverse. So what's heavy on your mind, what you're thinking about, is the Knight of Swords, again, like the Knight of Coins, he's a little more matured, right? He has the ability, and he's in the intellectual domain because swords represent thought. So he's more matured, and he has the ability to think, but in your conscious mind, you're afraid of thinking a little bit too quickly, or without the type of accuracy that you would like. You're afraid that you're maybe thinking incorrectly about things, and that is a valid concern, right? Because thoughts are, strictly speaking, never the realities that they represent. So you're wise to be concerned about thought in this way. But your advice for the current situation is the Nine of Swords in the reverse, which says that too much overthinking, or overthinking your overthinking, can really just lead you to a place of really negative emotions. You can be trying to find out the method in the madness, or to try to figure out why things occurred the way they did, and this can lead you to a kind of a state of anxiety or cynicism, or things like that, and it can really harm you in the long run. This one in the advice card, I would say, is really more you're resisting this, so that this is not going to serve you right. You know that this is bad for you to feel this sort of way, but that in and of itself can kind of cause this mental feedback loop where now you're worried because you're worried, right? Which is the very definition of anxiety. So you got to let go of that, right? You got to move away from that and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way, and how can I organize my decisions or what I'm doing in life to better address the concerns before I have to really think about them? What can I do if I'm concerned about, losing out on an investment or something? How can I make sure before even entering into that situation that it's less of a concern, right? And that's the way that you'll be more successful in navigating this situation, rather than just trying to think your way through it, right? The environment card, what's going on around you, is the cup, or the Ace of Cups, sorry. This is in the reverse, so there's a sort of a resistance to allow your emotions to flow. I mean, this isn't you, so this is somebody around you. This is the one card that doesn't really refer to you. This is going around you. There's this resistance to feeling a new opportunity for emotional fulfillment, or a journey, or an upwelling of intuition or journey. This can also be people are not following their intuition. They're kind of, they may be even influencing you to think more, to use your head more instead of using your heart, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that. There's a lot of tension going on in the world today, and it's leading people to kind of close off the emotional and intuitive side of themselves, and be a little bit more skeptical and afraid, right? So be careful how much of that energy you allow to rub off onto you, because you already have, your 7 of coins in your current situation suggests you really already are doing what needs to be done. You have what needs, or what you need to have, and it's really more about, harvesting when the time is right, and allowing yourself to kind of see things to their conclusion, not to overthink things and not to get too worried, right? So what's in your fears card is the Strength in the reverse. Strength is typically the idea of creating a safe space for others that could be dangerous to you or could be harmful. Because, some people have this idea that they're invincible, and that's, you're not. You're not invincible. There are forces at work around you that are more and less powerful than you. You're more powerful than others, and others are more powerful than you. And this dynamic is what sets up the entire ecology of energy that exists in the universe. And so it's a good thing, right? And so if you can learn to see it in a good way, and you can foster an inviting atmosphere around others who are more powerful than you, then it has a way of using their energy in a positive way in your life. They'll look out for you, right? Like in this figure, this very gentle woman. This very gentle woman here is, she's cuddling with this lion, and she's giving this lion something that it needs, which is a companionship or friendship. She's being kind to it, and in return the lion is not gobbling her up. It's just kind of really it's protecting her, because nobody's going to come around her while there's a big lion there, right? So it's kind of a synergistic way of being. And in your fears card in the reverse, this would be being afraid of not having that charismatic, or being afraid maybe that people don't like you, or that you're not, or that you're going to be attacked by the lion in a way, that you lack that sort of strength. It could also be that you're afraid to develop that kind of strength. So you're afraid to go into the lion's den. You're afraid to open yourself up to loss, or that kind of thing. And what I would say is, it's a valid concern, right? But it can block up your energy if that's what's sort of feeding your hesitation or your resistance or your cynicism, right? So it can be a negative for you. So the honest advice that I would have as far as moving forward is, don't block yourself off to feeling that vulnerability, but figure out a way to lower the stakes a little bit. So, if you're afraid of public speaking, right, do a small public speaking project or something, YouTube videos like this, in a way where you have a smaller, more controlled audience, where you are putting yourself out there. There is a risk, but if it doesn't work out, you're not going to have to deal with the repercussions of that all day, every day, right? So give yourself some sort of a way to practice where the stakes are a little bit lower, but be careful not to guard yourself completely. You have to learn to be vulnerable to be able to have this sort of strength. So your overall advice for the or your overall outcome, where this is headed in the long term, if you don't change things, if you don't make a conscious choice to guide it in a different direction, you have the 8 of Cups, and the 8 of Cups is withdrawal. This guy, his cups are empty, and he's just out. He's leaving. He's withdrawn from the situation. He's gonna go on a journey to figure out, well, what's a better way to do this? I'm frustrated and I just want to walk away, right? So this is the long-term outcome, specifically if it's kind of the way that you're headed, right? So you're not destined to go this direction, but it's the way that you're headed. So there is advice or directional changes that would be really good for you to sort of avoid this outcome of just heading off and saying, you know what, I'm just going to try something completely different. And it may be inevitable that you just get tired of it and want to move on to something else. But this is kind of a closed off emotion. This is a transitional state, and it's never, I wouldn't say it's ever completely necessary, but you go through periods in life where you go through this. It happens. So you really have a choice as to whether you want to end up so frustrated that you just throw it all away and walk away, withdraw, or you kind of learn from the situation with a sense of openness, which allows you to navigate it in a more productive sort of way. So, pretty good reading for us Virgos. And if you have any comments or questions, please do leave them in the comment section. And if you want any additional clarification about it or anything like that, or just any questions, I love to answer questions. So, until next time, I'll see you for December's reading. And thank you for watching. And this has been DrShiny Tarot.